Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Here we go. Another kick in the nuts to the establishment. And before I get into it, here's something that I was thinking about. I want to say it before I forget. Why wasn't this done before? Why didn't some other president have the light bulb go off in their head like, hey, I could do this via executive order. Why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I help the American people? Why would I not take some of the weight off of their wallet? Fuck that. So anyway, Trump signed an executive order stating that drug companies have 30 days to reduce their drug prices to the same level as other developed countries. Meaning, if, say, the UK, let's say they're paying $10 a bottle for insulin, but we're paying $100 per bottle for insulin. The drug companies need to lower our price to the price that they're paying in the UK. And he said, I'll put a link to the video and articles, all that shit. But he says it can lower it up to 50, 80 to 90%. And he said a lot of them will happen immediately. And if they don't get it done in the next 30 days, then we will take executive action and we will take regulatory action to make sure that they do within 6 months. How crazy is that? How many times have you had to buy medication, whether for you or a relative or your child, and the price of it was fucking astronomical? And you're thinking, how do you charge me so much for this medicine? If you're in California or you're in Texas or Arizona or one of the border states, you can hop over to Mexico and pay pennies on the dollar for the same thing. It's like gun laws. In California, you can't have this, you can't have that. 10 round max. Put a fin on it. No. Hop over the border into Nevada. Hey, man, you can have whatever you want. Yosemite Sam. Same thing with drugs. We're paying an arm and a leg here in America, where in other countries, it's nothing. Why? It's the same drug. It's the regulations. It's the laws. Over here in America, they're allowed to fuck us. They're allowed to bend us over, tug down our trousers, and give our chocolate starfish the business. In 2003, they had a Medicare Plan Part D. D stands for drugs. And in that Medicare plan, it said, Plan Act. Either way, it said that the federal government is not allowed to negotiate drug prices. So if the drug company comes in and says, this is what we're charging, the federal government can't say, hey, wait a minute, that's too much. Why would a country enact a law, pass a law that says they can't negotiate lower prices for their citizens? It's almost like they're in bed with the drug companies. It's almost like they're probably vacationing together and dining together and laughing together and doing drugs together and having sex together, all while we're down here being crushed by their greed. Why hasn't a president done this before? The stroke of a pen. Why wouldn't you look out for us? Why wouldn't you take care of us? Why would you let the... Now, drug companies, they make medication. When do you need medication? When you're sick, when you're at your most vulnerable. Or imagine your child or a family member needing that medicine. It almost makes you want to go John Q. Needing that medication, you can't afford it, and you know there's a bunch of bullshit prices attached to it. You know that if you went to Mexico or somewhere else, you can get that same drug for pennies on the fucking dollar. But there's these taxes and these fees, and this company needs to get their hand in the cookie jar. And the federal government, the senator or the congressman or the president that they're in cahoots with, they got to get or their family has to get their hand in the cookie jar. Meanwhile, American citizens are dying or getting sick because they want to get rich. So Donald Trump who's only looking out for his rich billionaire buddies. Remember, he doesn't care about you. You, the average everyday American. Trump is laughing at you. He doesn't care about you. He just wants to make his buddies rich. He just wants to get more rich. He just wants to throw billions on top of the billions that he already has. You're a fool for supporting Trump. You're an idiot for supporting Trump because he doesn't care about you. He says he does, but he really doesn't. Well, much like any other situation in life, I don't care what you say. Show me what you're doing. And of course, he didn't say any of that bullshit. But look at what he does. What he just did was sign an executive order to make our medication cheaper. Thank you. And if they don't, there's going to be hell to pay. Somebody like my dad would tell me, son, you can do it with an ass whooping or without an ass whooping, but you're going to do it. So drug companies, you can do it with an ass whooping or without an ass whooping, but you're going to do it. You are going to lower those drug prices, and here is the cherry on top of the greed and corruption sundae. We, in some cases, subsidize the low drug prices for other countries. Yes, you heard that right. We send money to other countries to pick up the slack for what they don't want to pay for their drugs. So let's take it back to the UK. Let's say in the UK, again, they're paying, the drug companies want to charge them $20 for a bottle of aspirin, but they only want to pay $10. The drug company says, I'm going to need my $20. UK says, all I can pay is $10. So who's going to pick up that extra $10? Who's going to pick up the extra $10 for another country to get their medication? I'll do it, Gil. Oh, who is that over there? Is that the United States? Let them pay for the other $10. You can have my money. I'll subsidize your medication. Hill. Bush, Obama, Sloppy Joe, all of them, none of them stopped it. All of them let us be Boo-Boo the Fool and go around the world with our wallet open so all the other countries can just Al Bundy, just married with children, the money out of our wallet. Looks like I'm all out of money. Hey, won't you go back over there to your taxpayers and get more of their money? I'm gonna do that. Taxpayers, give me some more money. They take our fucking money. They raise our taxes. Fuel tax. Climate change tax. Carbon footprint. All this stupid shit to get more money to subsidize their drugs. We're making their drugs cheaper, which makes ours more expensive. And none of the presidents, none of the administrations decided, it's not a good idea. None of them said, hey, why don't we go to another country and make them subsidize our medication? Whoa. That's too controversial. That's too outside the box. We're subsidizing other countries to have cheap drugs, and we're over here having to sell our damn plasma to pay for it. Not anymore. You are on the clock, drug companies. You have less than 30 days at this point to bring those prices down, which begs the question once again, why didn't they do it before? Why wouldn't they just say, hey, we're charging these people a lot of money. Maybe we should lower the prices. Hell no. These are humans. The most disgusting, vile parasite to ever infect a planet. That's what one of the few things the federal government is for. You're supposed to watch out for us. You're supposed to make sure the quality of life that we deserve is attainable. And in one way, that's making sure we don't pay too much for things, i.e. drug prices that when you need them, you're sick. You need the medication. In some cases, people will die. So why wouldn't you do your best to make sure that those life-saving drugs are as affordable as possible? Why wouldn't you do that? You son of a bitch. Well, it don't matter. Those days are far behind us. Look down. That's water under the bridge. Now they're going to have to lower the drug prices, just like in the rest of the... Could you imagine if we pay the same as Mexico for medication? All kinds. Not life-saving, whatever you need, dick pills, all that stuff. But it's affordable. What's wrong with affordable? I love it. Meet me in the comments. What do you think? This is huge. This is friggin' huge. And Trump, of course, made it funny. He was talking about his friend. He has some rich friend that takes Ozempic. He takes the fat shot. Friend of mine, very rich. If I mention his name, you know exactly who he was. Good guy, great man, huge, really fat. He says, president. Calls me president. He says, I took the fat shot. I'm over here in Sweden. It's $88. Right there in New York. Love New York. Built a lot of the skyscrapers. Beautiful. All the way to the moon. He says in New York he paid $1,300. What up with that? That's what I say. What up with that? Meet me in the comments. Do you think this is freaking huge? Or am I overreacting? Do you agree that this shit should have been done a long time ago and that the greed it's mind-boggling? As normal people who aren't sociopaths, we will never fully understand the depths of their greed. Talk to me, Goose. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.